Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, a podcast about playing games together. Whether that means co-op or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time, it doesn't matter how, it only matters that it's together. Because
when you save together, you stay together.
I'm Craig McGowan.
I'm Grace Novak.
And this is episode 58. What are we talking about today?
Factorio.
But before we talk about Factorio.
That sucked.
That's how you said it.
I didn't say Factorio because
Factorio.
that's putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Ha 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 ha. Now that's a joke. You think kids?
I don't mean for that to be a joke.
You think kids
I don't mean
understand
for that to be a
emphasis on the wrong syllable? Like, do you think that's a thing?
Is that your joke? Is that why I just said that? It doesn't come from me.
No, I don't say that. That was
Someone
such a
says
thing
that.
as kids, right? And I think it's from, like, I don't know, Saturday Night Live.
I've never heard that in my life.
Wait, seriously?
No, I've heard it, but I don't know from who. It wasn't from me.
But I feel like that's such a, like,
Ow.
fourth grader thing to say.
Emphasis on the wrong syllable.
And I wonder if it's been phased out. Like, the kids probably.
Yeah, it's a boomer joke.
I have another thing I want to ask if kids understand when we get into Factorio. So,
is it Gears?
what? Like, are you saying kids don't know what gears
That
are?
was just the first thing that came to mind. I feel like the thing in Factorio, that just stayed with me forever is those gears, man. Never enough gears or too many gears. That was my major problem.
Gears are still a pinnacle of society,
It's true.
so they probably know what a gear is.
Conveyor belts, is that what you mean?
No, let's wait till we get to it and we'll find
I
out.
like this guessing game.
But before we talk about things like that, we like to talk about what we've been playing alone in our solo time. So, Grace.
So many games, Craig. Let me tell you, there's been so many games in my life in the
Why
past.
is that?
Gosh, who knows?
You don't know why?
No, I'm just kidding. The PS5 and the Xbox Series X came out, and we have both.
And they're sitting right here, and I love them.
And I feel cool every day
Now,
having
wait,
something
hold on.
that so many people just can't seem to get a hold of, apparently.
Don't brag.
Fair.
But we could brag. We have them both sitting right here.
I sat there and refreshed Amazon so many times, guys. I am extremely cool. I didn't.
What is your final thoughts on the PS5 shape, design, everything?
It has grown on me. And now it just looks like something out of like some stupid movie about the future, and it makes me like it. It's very dumb and silly, but I like it for that reason.
It's grown off me, and I like it less every day I look at it.
Fair enough.
I thought
We could come together and meet in the middle and
so
just say, it's fine.
eh.
Eh.
Saves Together says eh.
I don't say that. I say, woo woo.
And I say boo.
What about the Xbox?
I love it. It's amazing. It's the
Pretty
best.
unassuming.
No, it's
Unassuming. It blows. It blows. If you lean over it, it blows some nice, refreshing breeze.
even when
face.
it's off. Like right now, I can feel it. I'm touching it. It's very. What's the opposite of unassuming? Assuming.
Okay.
It's very powerful. It looks like it's going to destroy you.
No, I disagree. I think the PS5
It looks like an
it could beat its
Evangelion. It
ass.
looks like the angel that's a decahedron or whatever.
No, the PS5 looks like it's about to morph into like a robot mech, and the Xbox is gonna get its ass kicked. That's how I.
No,
think
the
about
Xbox
it.
is gonna like.
And the Switch is
the Xbox
little
is gonna
baby.
destroy you from within with a beam of light you can't see,
Fair enough.
and you're just gonna be like, "What is it doing?"
And it's gonna let out a high pitched squeal.
Yeah, that we won't hear.
Like Ramiel, that's the name of the angel you're thinking about.
No, I don't.
Decahedron.
Yeah.
Not knowing all the names of the angels.
Name shapes then. You didn't know it was a decahedron. I don't know if it's a decahedron.
Yeah,
either.
you don't even know that either.
It might be an octahedron. Octahedron. So, Grace, what have you been playing on these new consoles? Or have you been playing stuff on the old consoles still?
A little bit of both. I've been
All
playing.
right, well.
Listen, there's a lot of games. I'm trying to remember what I even talked about last time. Because I feel like even since then, there's been like a month of games I've beaten and moved on from. I don't know if I talked about Persona 3 Dancing All Night. I was playing that for a little bit. I recently beat Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PS5.
On episode 57, our first quick save episode, by the way.
We didn't talk about that.
Did we have the consoles? No, right?
We did, but we didn't talk about it because we were just doing about Genshin. We didn't talk about it at all.
No solo time in a quick save, you're right.
So I haven't talked about
on.
any of this, but I beat Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I'm playing now. I started Bugsnax recently. I've been playing Sakuna, Rise and Ruin on the Switch, and I just got Kingdom Hearts Magical Melody, and I'm playing that, and Sackboy. We've been playing together. That's not solo time, sorry. Forget that.
You broke the rules.
A lot of games, though. Seriously, a lot of games. But it's been good. It's fun. I mean,
Are any particular standouts from the
um,
menagerie?
I Sakuna for some reason is very addicting. I really like it. It's very weird in that like it's so detailed about how you plant rice, and it's cool. I'm learning so much about growing rice in a way that I never thought I would.
So tell me why sushi
Combat's
rice
fun.
is better than just normal like the rice we get.
Oh, I have no idea.
Like why does it taste so much better? It's like
I
the
mean, it's
texture is
just
so cool.
yeah. I mean, it's just because they're shorter
Is it a
grains.
shape of rice grain or
Yeah.
is it like farmed? I mean, is it like milled to that shape?
I don't know. I mean, I'm in my game. I'm not learning about that in particular. It's more like the phases of growing rice and all the different things you do and the tools that you need to
Plant
make it
them,
work.
water them.
Sow them, prep. You have to prep the seeds before you even put them in the ground. Let them grow a little bit before then you plant them in the ground. And then the way you spread them out in the field matters a lot, and the way you have to like sort the seeds even before all of that, and then you can like put mud in it to like make the bad seeds rise to the top. All right, this is like a lot of information about
Well,
rice no one needs
one
though.
day I watched like 3 hours of rice growing YouTube. Like not because of this game. I
Three
just was
hours actually? Are you
interested in
being
it.
exaggerated?
Well, I liked the machines. They have like cool machines that just like plop out little plants, like you're saying. Like they
Right.
just go bloop, 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 and
The
it
game
sticks
is
it in the ground in a line. It's cool.
yeah, so I'm having fun playing that. Spider-Man was good. I mean, it looks really amazing. I got obsessed with the photo mode again. I took so many nice photos. I'll definitely post those later cuz it's very fun. Did they have the add a light in the other Spider-Man game too? Like
I
in the
want to say
photo
yes,
mode?
but I don't know.
Like that for me is new. I guess I maybe just didn't do it before, but I think that's so rad. I took some really cool photos, and it's a shorter game than the first one, which I appreciated. And I don't know, it was good. And I started Bugsnax, and the voice acting is excellent. And there's a little burger, and he goes bunger, bunger, bunger.
He's
And
not a burger. He's a bunger.
but he looks like a burger.
But he's a bunger.
So lots of good games right now.
Seriously, Hyrule Calamity.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. But that's co-op time.
I know, but I just there's so many games.
I know there's so many games and a lot of co-op games we are playing now. It's like there's a lot coming up. Haven's gonna be out in the first week of December, and that's gonna be a good one too.
Was Haven one of our? We have a list, and it's just not in front of me. Was Haven one of our indie game highlights of the week of the month?
I don't know. I think that was even before that. It had been announced, and that was before we were doing that. So I think
Okay.
we just had talked about it as something we were definitely gonna play.
Cool.
Like I think it
I'm
had been
excited for
announced
that.
during E3, and we had talked about it in relation to that,
I see.
or something like some sort of like event like that. What have you been playing?
Well,
Yeah,
I've been playing.
Sorry, I answered for you. I don't know why.
Thank you.
I just got excited.
Me too. I'm excited because both games excite me. Yakuza Like a Dragon or Yakuza 7. It's very good. It's a turn-based RPG now instead of being like a brawler. And I was very excited for it for good reason. I think it's a blast. I think it's very fun.
You're a big Yakuza fan.
Oh, yes.
But every time I look at the screen, there's something that a degenerate would do that's going on. I looked up last night, and there's men wearing diapers, grown men wearing diapers. What is that? Sorry, I guess
That's their
I
fetish.
guess I'm shaming
Yeah,
right now.
don't kink shame.
Okay, well, it was a little bit disconcerting at the time. Then you drank the milk.
I shared a milk with the patriarch of the family that likes to wear diapers. Get over it.
All right, I'm over it. Then there was a pisser.
The Piss Wizard, that's my favorite so far.
Piss wizard. That
so
is funny.
He was a side story where some lady was talking to a cop and I overheard the conversation and she was like, officer, somebody keeps peeing in the river. They're going to turn the whole river into piss. And the cop was like, well, I can't do anything about it until we catch them in the act. And then it's my job to catch someone in the act. So later you come back to that spot and there's 4 guys
Pissing?
standing at the edge of the river. And it's like, oh, one of these must be the pisser. And you have to look at them from the back and decide which one, based on their posture, is pissing.
That's pretty funny.
So one is like wearing a karate uniform. He's doing like a karate stance. One is like hunched over, kind of like Schmeagol, and he's just like, and then.
Game.
But I got it on the first try, so I can't tell you what happens if you pick the wrong one. Like, do you have to come back later and there's only 3? I don't know. But I got it on the first try because I know my pissers.
Oh, good to know.
And
Well, yeah, because men go into the bathroom and you see people pissing. Like that's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
something women do
Well,
because we don't stand and pee.
You should try.
Just walk in on people and be like, I just wanted to see what you look like while you were peeing, just in case I ever needed to know.
Just in case I ever see a piss wizard.
Okay.
So that's my favorite of the Suji decks
This podcast is already just really vile.
All right, let's move on to happier things. I love Yakuza, and I've also been playing Fuser, the new game from Harmonix, which does some magical stuff under the hood to make mixes of song stems just sound pretty good almost no matter what you do. You can...
Wait, you work with harmonics or something?
What?
Nothing. I was just
No,
thought
it's
it was
really
a
impressive.
Very smooth
I guess
way to sell
maybe
the
it's
game.
not impressive.
No, it's impressive.
It's super impressive knowing the work. Like, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but having been a DJ,
being a DJ myself.
having done that before, this does it way better than I could ever do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
This does so much work
DJ.
under the hood that it feels like, oh, this is simple. Like, wow, how are they doing this?
Yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's a bop.
Yeah, and like you can make a disaster of a song as well by combining some certain stuff. But it's so fun. It's basically drop mix. Remember that thing that I was all excited about but never got because it was $100?
I do remember. I do.
It basically takes the drop mix conceit and makes it into a game you can have just right here. I got it on Switch, even though I think I'd rather play with a keyboard. Like a mouse and keyboard would probably make this more fun. But
is it on PC?
Yeah. But the reason I got it on Switch is like theoretically I could take this places and play.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean?
You could play clubs at this point.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's doing that right
we
now.
should do that.
Yeah.
It's a Fuser nightclub where you just come in. It's Fuser game night. We just take over like a LAN cafe for the night.
Mm-hmm.
They should. If COVID wasn't happening, I wonder if they'd be doing stuff like that. Because remember Rock Band nights? And I'm not saying this game is as popular as Rock Band, but
no.
places used to have like Rock Band night, which was just karaoke night.
I believe that.
know?
I just was probably too young to even understand that was a thing that could happen. So
Such like cool things you could do if we weren't,
Such cool things we could do if the world wasn't terrible.
Anyways, I highly suggest Fuser if you have any interest at all. Grace?
Yeah.
Craig?
So I didn't know where you were going. Yeah?
When you look at a turntable
What do you see?
spinning a record, it kind of looks like a conveyor belt, no?
No.
Yes.
It reminds me of a gear, actually.
No, it's more like a conveyor belt. Speaking of gears and conveyor belts, let's talk about Factorio here on episode 58 of Saves Together.
Okay.
Developed by Woob Software, or maybe Woobe, I don't know, and published by Woob Software, Factorio was released on August 14th, 2020 for the PC, Mac, and Linux. So basically just home computer platforms.
Okay, I found out because I was
yes?
curious. I was asking you earlier how long their early access phase was. It's been out technically in a beta since
like
2016.
Ooh, I was going to say
so
15.
4 years.
Yeah, so because it had been around for a while and I had been very interested, and I honestly don't think I knew it was still early access. I think
So
I thought it was out
we
for a while.
officially played it like after it was early access.
Yeah, we played in like
That's so funny.
August.
don't even-
We played right when it came out. I think that's why we got into it.
I was gonna say
I
like
must
did we
have
do that
seen like it's
purposely?
out now, and then we bought it.
I see. Yeah. Okay. I was just curious. Yeah, because I know it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it is a what? How do you describe? What's the genre? What's the gameplay?
It's really a game about building and creating automated processes and then create, that continue to let you build and create automated processes that it's a never-ending cycle of building and creating things in a factory.
Yeah, it's like a factory production simulator, or remember how I was saying things kids might not understand?
Yeah.
I wrote down factory production tycoon. But do kids even know what the tycoon game is anymore?
I think so.
Like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Lemonade Tycoon, Dino Park Tycoon, things like that.
I don't know. I don't know like what right now, because when I was a kid, those were big
Those were like
games.
all the rage.
So I don't know if there's like a version of that on iPads or phones or whatever that, like, what's the new... I mean, okay, so there's funny games now where it's like Streamer Tycoon, or, well, they call it
True.
simulators now. It's not called Tycoon.
But
so
also,
yeah, maybe now the
I feel like-
tycoon word isn't big.
I feel like the suffix simulator implies now, at this point, kind of joking.
Yes, but I'm just saying I think it's also replaced the word tycoon, because it really feels like
Right.
tycoon when we were kids was used as simulator, Diner Dash or whatever, those kinds of games. Roller coaster, you could call it roller coaster simulator now, and people would think it's the same thing. But I don't think it's just a joke. A lot of people make these simulator games and it's very serious. Like farming simulator, that's serious. Someone should make a rice simulator now.
I bet there's
Sakuna.
I bet one of those farming simulators has a maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's
They
American.
seem very
farming.
American, yeah. But I don't know. Oh, watch, someone's gonna.
We farm rice here in Nebraska,
I bet there's DLC
the
for
rice
like
capital of the world.
different kinds of crops and crap. I don't know. Anyway, it's a simulator for making factory stuffs.
It's top down, and you are starting from scratch to basically mine resources, turn the resources into other resources, and then turn those resources into other resources.
Really, it's the loop of the researching and then, building that thing to build the next thing. And managing your resources while that's going, and the loop of like managing the efficiency of your factory.
Efficiency is like the key word, yeah.
It sounds more complicated than it is, but it also is very complicated.
It both sounds more complicated and also is way more complicated than
it's more complicated than you think it is also. But don't let that stop you from playing.
And automation is also like a key thing. Like you'll get it
Right.
so you're auto farming basically and auto building stuff.
It's really almost like I wouldn't call it a puzzle game, but it is the puzzle of trying to understand how to automate something, because the game has very little hand-holding.
Yeah.
So much so I do think sometimes it suffers from that a little bit for me, but I think it's really interesting because a lot of it is just trying to understand how do we do this. It can get frustrating.
Yeah, we had a relatively clashing philosophy on how we should play this game where
Well, not how we should play this game, but what the game was.
Well, I don't disagree that it definitely doesn't really help you. It doesn't really point
Right, that's
stuff
a
out.
fact.
But for me, I wanted to just poke around with the tools, like trying to get the trains to work. You can eventually have trains, and you can have one track that goes between stations, and it can be automated. Like this train will leave this station at this time, and then whatever, go back and forth. Getting that to work required a lot of poking around with the tools and trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. And you were a big proponent of let's just Google it right away. Like
I really only said that like once or twice though. I didn't want to Google everything right away. It was like when it gets to, well, yeah, that's the truth. When it got to the point of how much longer are we going to spend not knowing how a tool works before we can use the tool to create our furniture or whatever, our creation.
Right,
I just want to know how the screwdriver works so I can use my screwdriver. But I was not constantly asking to Google things.
Correct. Sorry, I don't mean to frame it like that. I'm just saying I enjoyed no, I'm going to figure this thing out. Like I want to just play with these tools.
You wanted to
figure
bang the screwdriver against the nail and hope that it hammered it in.
And it worked.
Eventually you probably could do that.
So yeah, there was the difference in opinion sort of on or not opinion, more like the fun part for you I think was the progression. And the fun part for me was the poking around and playing with these things. And I didn't want to progress necessarily because that would overcomplicate the stuff I'm working on currently.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying.
But we're sort of already talking about some stuff. What's the co-op category? Saves Together's certified co-op categories.
It's, resource sharing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of similar to, it's not similar to anything we've ever played, but if you had to put in a category with other games, it's like Terraria, Minecraft, as in you're playing together, you're building something together, and you're sharing all your resources together. You're not necessarily trying to beat enemies. I mean, you do fight insects, but you don't have to. And that's another thing that we were debating this whole game, because there's essentially these insects you're trying to contend with while you're building your factory, and they will constantly attack your base, is what essentially it becomes, and you have to create weapons and fight back and go destroy their bases. And at some point we were like, should we just turn this off? Because sometimes it got really, especially for you got very frustrated at okay, it's destroying everything and I just want to work on what this is,
Right.
It's like if you were playing Minecraft in creative mode versus non-creative mode. I would say Terraria is more combat focused than the other two, but
yeah, the bugs I think got worse the more you polluted.
Right, then that makes sense. That was part of it. I think you could have played it in a fashion where you're not polluting as much, not using, is nuclear energy pollution?
I think it I mean it is. Doesn't it leak?
I don't know. You could have used but I guess you could have used solar panels instead of the water energy, which is powered by coal.
But even your miners would still be making. I'm pretty sure you'd still be polluting
you need
a little
coal
bit.
at the beginning,
Yeah.
at the very least.
It's a part. It's like a core part of the gameplay.
Yeah.
Loop.
And then eventually, I think you can make it all electric, and then electric being powered by solar, like the furnaces. Yeah. You don't need to be
and
using
storing
coal.
in batteries.
Right.
I think that we definitely didn't upgrade weapons and stuff early enough. And once we
Yeah.
realized, oh, we're supposed to be investing in fighting, which is like you were saying. For me, I was like, I don't really want to do that. As cool as the auto turrets and the better guns and rockets are, I'm
Hmm.
not here for this. I just want to try to make an efficient factory.
I definitely
So
think there's a
I got
case for this game to just not play that way at all and still
yeah.
have as much fun as you can. But maybe I think it might be better for like a second round.
Right. I think I learned like, okay, I did it already the one way that they like made the game for.
I have a feeling though this game has like an audience that's probably so purist about one way or the other. Like, no, you have to play with the insects because otherwise you're not playing it the right way. So
Yeah,
I
I don't
wonder if
know.
there's people that would make the argument of like, if you're not playing this way, then what pressure is on you? But there's so much to do.
But the fun part for me,
So
if maybe this is where most of the fan base comes from, the fun part for me is making the efficiency. I don't really
yeah,
care about the lore that the bugs are angry I'm doing it. I want to make the most effectively designed conveyor belt system, you know?
right. Because that's already a lot. I feel like in Minecraft, there's not that much going on as far as any of that. I mean, there could be, but we never got that far. But in this game, it's immediately somewhat overwhelming in all that you can do and design that it can be very distracting having the bugs be part of it.
Right. I'm trying, my brain is full 100% like trying to figure out how this splitter works and can make it so this thing gets enough resources. And then like beep 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 beep, you're being attacked. Like I'm busy.
Right.
Just leave me
right,
alone.
Right. It's interesting because then I'm sure there's other ways you could play it in a whole nother fashion of all about war and making these crazy weapons. There's a nuke. You can make a nuke. You can just nuke all the bugs. So
Yeah, I wonder if it's like launch the nuke once and the whole planet is irradiated and destroyed. You know,
that's
all life
interesting.
forms are destroyed. We didn't make the nuke,
We did
obviously.
not. We didn't beat this game. We didn't quote unquote beat this game because I mean we never went to space. There is like an end goal,
Yeah,
but it's
you're
pretty loose. Like you don't
yeah.
obviously don't have to, and the game takes a long time to do that. So well, actually that's not true. There's an achievement where you can do it in like I don't know how many hours, but there's a couple hours like beat the game in this many hours.
Yeah, so we played for like 20 hours. I played a little bit longer than you because at some points it would be like, okay, Craig, you work on figuring out how trains work. I don't need to be here for this.
Yeah, there was a
You
little
know.
bit of that, which was interesting. Like you get stuck on a thing, and I was kind of done for the day because I did find this game taxing as
Yeah.
far as like how much it makes my mind work, and because my job is already taxing in my brain. Like some days this was not a relaxing game. I did
No.
not find it
No, it's not.
relaxing.
I would be sweating trying to figure out like, okay, if A connects to B,
It's
and
like
then by the time
intense in a
C,
totally different way
Yeah.
than any other intense game. It's not like a Monster Hunter intense. It's like a I'm computing things all the time in my brain intense.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating and unique.
Yeah. Let's start with our factors. Type of co-op. Couch, online, split screen, same
I
screen.
think it's only online.
Yeah. You join so the next
We played this on Steam.
The
Is,
next-
is it on any other platform? I don't know. if
yeah,
you said.
Mac and Linux. I mean, I guess
Well,
those could
just
be just on
computers.
Steam.
Yeah.
I don't count Steam as a system. I know that some people do.
Sorry. Okay.
If it's on these operating systems and you
Yeah.
can play it, and if you don't want to use the store it's on, that's us.
Suck it up.
The next factor is separate mode or full, and
Full mode.
you have to join a server, like
Oh,
an online
right,
server.
right.
I have to set up an online server marked as, joinable.
Like Terraria, things are kind of centered in that
Mm,
server, but
but
I don't
not
carry
like
things
Terraria?
with my character.
Not like Terraria because, you don't have separate characters, and also I don't.
Yeah, my character doesn't retain anything really. Well, it does, as
In
in
the
if I
server.
log back in, right, in the server. Everything's retained in the server.
I was gonna say that I can't play that server offline, but I think that's wrong. I can play
I think you
solo
can. Yeah,
that server, so never. That is a little bit like Terraria.
right.
Control scheme. So we said we played on PC, so it's
A
pretty
lot
much
of
mouse and
like
keyboard.
learning how to finding keyboard shortcuts. I mean, is that every game? I don't know.
No,
I don't play a lot of
no.
PC games, so
Not really. No, this is
Yeah.
a heavy. This is like spreadsheet level hotkeys.
Right, right. It was always like asking each other, like, what's the hotkey for this? What's the hotkey for that?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. You have like a toolbar. I ended up bringing out like because we played a lot of it and there's so much keyboard stuff going on. I ended up bringing out a separate keyboard because I use my laptop to play. We don't have another desktop.
Yeah,
to
because
play.
we only have one desk. The
Right.
setup was a little intense for this game. We had to pull out like where we eat, like our table, like our dining room table, essentially.
I mean, I wouldn't call it intense, but it definitely is not
We would
preferable to console
move-
playing.
We would move our Cecil, like our armchair, we would put
Our
it.
Cecil?
The German word for armchair. I don't know why it sticks with me as that's what
I
that's
love
called.
that you said that like everyone's like, oh yeah, the Cecil, okay.
I don't know what they're called. I have to say it first. I don't know why.
What the
I'm weird.
hell is wrong?
We would move the like comfy living room
Como se
style.
dice armchair? Sorry, okay, go ahead.
The word to me is Cecil armchair. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know
German
why.
man.
I don't know what happened.
I
Don't ask
happened
me
to
dare
brain.
DDoS.
Your brain got rewired where there's
did.
no armchair first. It's Cecil, and then you have to translate to armchair.
Yeah. But we would have to move that into the next to the desk. Get some pillows because it's hard to sit at that chair and the desk. You have to be pushed up forward a bit. Get the extra mechanical keyboard out. Get a separate laptop so you can watch your streamers while we play because it's not a very
This is so unnecessary to
No,
say
I'm
that.
explaining how intense the
Watch
setup
your
became.
streamers. Way to out me.
But there's
as
nothing
a
wrong with
Twitch
multitasking.
degenerate. I know. Well, it's not yeah. But okay. Well, I will
This
say,
game
Craig,
is great for watching stuff.
no,
while
I
playing.
disagree. I actually disagree
Oh,
because when I had stuff on, I could not concentrate on it at all. Most of the time, I ended up tuning it out completely. Whereas like other games like Terraria and Minecraft, it was way easier to watch stuff. But because this game is so brain intensive, I would be thinking so hard about it. I would not even. It would just be noise. Whereas in Minecraft and Terraria, it was a lot more chill, way more chill.
See, I have a one-track mind. I can't watch stuff while I do
Right.
stuff, so they're all that to me.
I have
so
like
that's
some sort
that's
of
good to know.
ADHD where I have to be more stimulated to like pay attention and process information. But this game's already so stimulating. I could not let anything else in because I was just like, I gotta think about this so hard. So I really didn't need other stuff. I just liked the noise. But yeah, that was our setup.
So
took our Cecil and we moved it. That is so funny to me that you said that. I've never heard you even reference it like
I've never had to talk about it, the Cecil.
That's not true. We've talked about Cecils before.
Well, I just called it the chair, but if I say the chair in this context, you'd be like, yeah, there's a chair at the table, we know.
So Cecil is armchair.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I learn something new every day, folks. A little German. And your Satisfactory podcast, who knew?
But because the setup was so intense, we played for long sessions, but we didn't play like, oh, I just got home from work, let's play real quick.
Oh, it was definitely a weekend game.
Yeah.
Because it was a couple hours each time. The other thing is that for me is really uncomfortable to sit in like that because the Cecil's not like to my back. So
Right.
I can't sit up straight like in a desk chair. It's mostly just, our situation of being
because
in
we
a
only
New
have
York
one
City
desk in
apartment.
this, yeah.
Right. If we had another desk, it'd be different. So for me, that's why we don't play a lot of PC games co-op because there's just not a good way for me to sit. So that's, yeah. I mean, also I just don't like, we like our console games. What can I say? But this game was worth playing for sure. I'm glad we did it despite all that.
Yeah, I just was trying to point out why maybe we got a little run down on the game or what.
Yeah, it
like,
probably would have helped having a better setup for sure.
Right. If we could both just sit down at our desks, we always sit at, click launch, we might have played a little more.
Right. But still it is not a relaxing game, and that was part of the burnout. I literally got burned out on this game,
Thank you. That's the
really weird and like not a thing that usually happens to me with video games, at least for co-op games, MMOs that happens to people, but it happened to me for this game. My brain was like, no more, please stop.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I would get tired. I'm tired. I gotta go to sleep. Working all day in the factory.
One hotkey that I wish it had that Terraria has that I really love is deposit all nearby. So if in your inventory you have a bunch of gears and wood and rocks.
Okay, did you look up that it didn't have this first?
I mean, I couldn't find one, and I
Okay.
looked through hotkeys a lot, but there are a lot. Maybe it has it, but
there are definitely a lot.
I
Yeah.
definitely didn't know about it, and it wasn't obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have helped for chest organization because there is a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of inventory management.
And you'd
But-
open one chest to dump one thing, open the next chest to dump one thing, open the next chest to dump, and it's like
I would
could
say
just hit a button.
actually inventory management is a lot better and less cumbersome than it is in Minecraft and Terraria. I think a big part of that is you can make huge chests and you just end up dumping all the time and it doesn't super matter. And there's a way to kind of display on your screen what chest has in it before you click into it. So you don't have to
Right.
like click into every chest to find out where's the wood, it's has a little icon next to every chest on your map. So that helps.
Definitely helps. It's not the worst. I just wish I could run past it, click A.
Oh
or
yeah, for
whatever.
sure. No,
And-
that would be good to have.
Yeah.
If that's not already in there. Some part of me just feels it might be in there. And I'm scared.
It could be. Progression.
The only real progression is just the research that you do. Like the whole game is kind of built around how can we automate research so that you can automate things in the future. And Yeah, so you research, okay, solar energy, and then you're progressing in that way, so you can make new technologies to make your technologies better.
Yeah, you're just going down the tech tree, which then is causing you to get more pollution,
Yeah, so
and
you
then you
can
do that
make
over
new
and over.
weapons or make new vehicles or make here's robots. Now you can do robots, you know. But you have to research the parts of the robots first before you can make the robots,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's basically like, okay, we've got coal, now we can turn that coal into power, which we can then use to turn silver
Mhm.
into ore, which we can turn into metal for the robot. Then we're making batteries, then we're making it
We
very
kind of
complicated.
we kind of played this game like we played Minecraft where it was we kind of assigned jobs to each other. So he did a lot of the railroading. Like he ended up figuring out all the railroading and established new bases to we ran out of coal here. We need to bring the coal in from the east. So he went and did that. Meanwhile, I spent like 99% of my time, well, like 90% of my time, uh making the research loop work. And that just takes a lot of effort. And just like making the whole loop of resources to research automation work. That was sort of my job.
Yeah, let's talk about our strategy for our
Should we
base
wait more
factory
strategy and
design.
tactics though?
Yeah, but I'm excited. I want to talk about it
All
now.
right, that's fine.
Our basic idea was a main center hub with arms going off and coming back to the main hub. We didn't have like, here's this base, here's this base, here's this base. We had one base that the resources would come to.
Something interesting about this game, in difference to Minecraft and Terraria, we didn't really know what's the right way or best way to do things. Where in Minecraft and Terraria, it's kind of like whatever. I mean, Terraria, you know that you make a elevator, or at least that's something we knew by then, or at least Craig knew. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Like that was something I went into the game not knowing, but he told me about. But we both went into this game blind and didn't look up anyone's bases or anything, because that's one thing you could do is people share like, here's my setup and here's how it works. Oh my god, I went on the Reddit one time and people are literally sharing mathematical formulas, and I'm just like, no, thank you.
I like that stuff.
People get so intense about this game. I mean, it gets down to that where it's like, how many, what's the max amount of coal that I need to do this in the most efficient way possible? And people are like sharing mathematical formulas and stuff. But we didn't prep ourselves in any way. So it was interesting because it was like, I have no idea if this is the best way to do things. And it kind of got overwhelming in that we're like, should we just tear this whole thing down and start all over? And I really didn't want to do that. I was like,
But we did do
no.
it.
We didn't,
We
but
did.
we
No, we
kind of
did.
did.
We
We
did
kind
the
of did.
first one.
Yeah, no, we did.
That we'll save that talk for strategy and tactics
Oh,
because it was interesting what we did. Friendly fire. No, sorry. Shared loot or XP. No.
we just share all the resources. There's no XP. You don't like your character isn't leveling up, unlike in Minecraft and Terraria at all. Like you just are outfitting yourself with different. You end up getting like armor that can have attachments, like mods, basically that help you run faster or fight better, and that's mostly it.
And it's all server based.
Yeah, right.
The
And if
server has this tech unlocked on the tech tree.
also, I'm pretty sure most of it's combat based as far as like what you're giving your character. So if you weren't fighting insects, I don't think your character would matter so much. Maybe there's something that helps you like not get stopped or moved by conveyor belts. Like
Well, yeah,
that's the
there's
one.
movement speed, conveyor belt stuff. I bet there's an inventory size thing. There's
Mhm.
light stuff like make light around you.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I think
There's a couple things.
there's repair bots. Just have repair bots ready to go out of your backpack.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we didn't get to. We got as far as about I'm trying to remember
I
like
want to say about 3/4.
we got to nuclear power and we didn't end up using it so much because it was taking a while.
I started. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
3/4
started.
is right. We got 3/4 down the research track.
We started playing around with experimenting with nuclear,
Mm-hmm.
but to get the one that's like 0.07% chance to get, like I
Here we
had a
go,
whole train
bringing
system.
up the numbers.
I had a whole train system running uranium over to a place that would refine it, and it would go into a loop. And yeah,
This
kind of a
game's pretty
complicated thing.
wild.
It was cool, and I was excited to start nuclear power. But as I was playing more with it, I was like, actually, I think we're gonna run out of. Basically, we would run out of resources because it's always generating, not just when it needs it.
Mhm.
So even if we weren't needing the power, we would waste that thing that has a 0.7% chance.
See exactly how he's talking and what he's saying right now is why I stopped playing this game. Like my brain is fizzling as you're speaking.
It's just I'm more like, oh, I want to go back and fix that. Friendly fire.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we ran over each other a couple times.
You can run over each other. You can explode each other with grenades and rockets.
It wasn't too much of an issue, I would say, most of the
Definitely
time.
not an issue, but what's cool, there's a hotkey. I think it's if you're holding C and you click anything, people, rocks, anything, it'll shoot it.
I didn't know that. Why wouldn't you tell me that while we were playing the game?
I shot you a couple times. I thought you would have figured it out.
You thought I would have figured out a hotkey from you shooting me. Okay, thanks. Really, really good
Just
co-op
press
partner
your
I had
hand down
here.
on the keyboard and something will happen.
Yeah, just bang my hands on the keyboard like a piano I can't play. It will work out.
But I think it's cool to give you the option to shoot each other where it's like, I don't know why you'd ever need it, but I like it. I'm glad it's there. You can get your point across, you know? It's like an exclamation point.
Uh-huh.
Interruptive actions. Screen block, screen drag, screen warp.
No.
Pretty much none. I don't
I would
think
say
there's a
most
single...
online games we play. Well, that's not true, but this one definitely not.
Yeah.
You could like make the train go while I was in it.
Yeah, but that's not like the game.
It's a
That's
very
like because I'm a
specific use
bad
case.
person. That's almost friendly fire. You know?
I would say the biggest thing is just like picking things up, putting things down, or moving things out of inventory when you don't expect it. But that's like most resource sharing games.
I can go into your backpack and you can't go into my backpack, which is interesting. Remember that?
Yes.
Difficulty of the co-op.
Pretty difficult.
I would say it's not difficult at all.
Oh. I would say
The
it's difficult
game-
because, Craig, we disagreed on how to do things. Like, we would have to have meetings on, here, we want to do it this way. You're like, no, we need to do it this way. And because what can you do? You have to talk it through and decide what's more efficient. I think it's difficult.
I think it's intense. I don't think it's difficult.
I think
Because
it's
it was a
difficult.
big help having you there. We were getting things done doubly fast. We were killing bugs doubly fast.
Oh, yeah.
You were working
sure.
on the fort while I was working on the defenses, which would be one person doing one at a time instead of two at once. I don't think it's difficult in any way. The game is difficult, but the co-op doesn't add difficulty. It makes it easier, I think.
I think it does both. I think it makes it easier in the way you're saying. I agree, but I do think it makes it difficult in the ways that you have to coordinate with each other.
See, I qualify that as intensity, so potentially
But it is difficult it was difficult for
that's
us.
that's an interpersonal problem. You know,
Oh my God, no,
we've
no,
really
no, no,
gotten
no,
to
no,
the
no.
bottom of this here.
Yeah, that's an interpersonal problem. You're funny. No, because this is about the game. This game, unlike other games where it was like Minecraft and Terraria, we're not disagreeing on how to build our base. This
That
one
adds to the intensity, not the difficulty. The game design
Why can't
isn't
it be
based
both?
around the game design's not based around pitting two people's interpersonal relationship against each other. That just means
Wait,
it's intense.
This has nothing to do with our interpersonal
Yes, it
relationship.
does. We have different opinions, and we have to sort them out on paper outside of the game.
But because the game is so complicated and complex in the gameplay, it has to do with that.
But if you had two people that were drift compatible and they were like, yeah, this is the way to do it. We're both smart geniuses that know how to program computers.
All right, listen.
This is how you do it.
Listeners, you have your evidence. You decide, is it difficult or not? You can decide that.
Okay, intensity.
Intense.
Very. Incredibly. Mentally very intense.
Mentally very intense, yeah.
I think that it's an intensity thing of like, wow, we are sitting here. I'm sweating because I'm thinking so much. And that, I'm not good at thinking. And I'm sweating because of it. So very taxing, like you said
If you're
earlier.
not good at thinking, and I'm good at thinking, but I was the one that was burnt out and you weren't, what does that say?
Means I enjoy thinking even though I'm not good at it. And
And
you're
I
not
don't?
good at thinking.
I don't enjoy
You don't
thinking,
enjoy thinking
folks.
too much.
That's not true.
No, I'm just kidding.
I enjoy thinking.
You
Just
said
not
that
so
so
not
sincerely, like as if people were like, she doesn't like thinking.
I'm saying like this game I think sometimes was like, okay, well, why do I need to think so much right now? I'm trying to have fun. And
Yeah,
when it stopped
yeah.
being fun because of thinking,
That's
I
like
stopped
just
playing.
a difference of what we enjoy doing. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
not even a bad thing. For me, I like to get
This is why I didn't get into
frustrated.
chess.
Chess?
This is why I didn't get into chess.
Yeah. Chess doesn't make sense to me, though. I can't wrap my brain around chess. Like, I've tried. I had a whole book about it, and it was like the Schrodinger's method. And like,
I
what are you
mean,
talking about?
I think sometimes a game that involves a lot of thinking is fun, but there's other times, and the way I use games to relax sometimes makes it not fun, where
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
as satisfying.
I think
but
that you...
I do think this is a really fun game. I just think
what
it
you're
had
saying-
its limitations for me.
I think what you're saying is completely reasonable. I'm not even like
No, I
saying you're wrong for being burnt out by it or like getting like, okay, I got to be done. It's really just an opinion thing of like, I don't know. For me, I do want to play more. I do want to sit there and bang my head against why won't this stupid conveyor belt split the right way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do it for hours if I
Prove it.
What? Why are you like challenging me?
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I've been saying since we stopped playing, like, yeah, I'll probably go back and play with my buddy.
Because I know you.
And you're like, will you? Will you? Will you? Like,
because there's so many games to play right now. It's like you really gotta
wait,
go back.
why does it have to be in a time frame? Why can't I just do it in like a year?
Because one day we all die.
No, I won't.
Okay, fair enough. If you were
I've
immortal, I would believe it.
designed my insides so that my factory, that is my vessel, that is my body of life, will survive forever.
Listen, those gears, they be stacking up, and I'm upset about it.
Inside me, I just have gears stacked up. I can't get the rock to the right place.
Craig would be so ornery whenever the conveyor belt had too much stuff on it. I was like, it
makes no sense. It's not fine. It's inefficient as hell.
Oh, this is why the game's
not
difficult at all. This game's not difficult.
It's not difficult. If you just did it the right way, if you just had your boxes lined up better. And you're using fast grabbers. You're using fast grabbers to take the things too fast.
This is reminding me.
Which is clogging up the artery of the system. Let's talk about our fort design.
No, I want to say something.
I want to talk about the design of the business of the factory.
I think that you were very blamey during this game.
Because you were doing stuff that makes no sense at all. Logically, it does not make sense. Put it on the whiteboard and explain the logics.
Dude, you literally would blame me. You're like, you did this, you made this broken, you broke this. I did.
You did. You were like, we have to start using fast. Why are you not using fast? I'm like, my brain is not ready to comprehend fast yet. Stop using fast. We will just have to stay at a baseline efficiency right now.
This is what you know what? This is what people that care about what the founding fathers think, dude. They don't want progression. They don't want to go faster. They don't want to move forward. What you're saying is you want to stay
without understanding the past and where you've come and what you have. You have to completely, totally understand the tools you have now to be able to progress towards better tools. Competitiveness of the co-op, not competitive at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so sad.
It's not competitive in gameplay design, but if you consider this is like business
he made it competitive. I did not make this competitive.
Your business sucks. I'm gonna put you out of business, dude.
I think Craig, he can't handle his faults, and so he makes it my problem.
What faults?
Your faults and not wanting faster conveyor belts.
Dude, it's not a fault to be reasonable and logical about the idea that if we still can't comprehend why something's happening with the slow ones.
Conveyor belts got so jammed? They had to be faster so they could get to their location.
You swapped them with all fast, and you're clogging the boxes too fast for the short arms, and then the long arms are not able to do the fast arms.
Okay, can I say something? You didn't use fast arms when you could have. That was my problem.
You don't need to use fast arms.
You do.
If you're using slow conveyor belts and there's no cloggage, there's no reason to put a fast arm there because then it's grabbing too fast, and some need to slip by. In
I
some
want you
instances,
to know that you will come out as the asshole on this podcast and not me. And I win, so that means I win.
So this is a very competitive co-op game.
It's not competitive because it's not about like us trying to outdo each other.
This is a failing of ourselves, not of the game.
Well,
as business partners.
Well, I don't know. I do think sometimes the game can be a little obtuse. That's all.
That's not competitiveness. I'm talking about.
I don't think the game's competitive. I'm disagreeing with you.
I'm just focusing on this factor so we can move to the next factor, which is strategy or tactics. And I want to talk to you about the business pitch meetings that we had in real life outside of the game that I thought were amazing.
I really had so this is also probably the co-op game where I wrote down in the most stuff. I always would bring my notebook to my desk, quote unquote desk, with my schlein. What's it called?
Yeah, it's a schlein.
Wait, what's it called again?
Go ahead.
The speen.
Keep going.
I sat in my speen and I brought my notebook and I would basically plan out what I needed for each what are they called? Like research pack, like the purple, the yellow, and I had to figure out like how to fix my factory so I could get it there. We would plan out what we were gonna do and then meet each other and decide, are we gonna do it this way? Are we gonna do it this way? Or we would combine our ideas, and it's just interesting.
So we started playing the game, going in blind, like you said, and right away almost we were like, we need a notebook. And then we built our base factory, and we're starting to see the inefficiencies pop up, and we're talking about it afterwards or while we're on, we played over Discord. And then we're starting to realize like, oh, we need to redo the thing. And you mentioned this before. We at one point had a thing set up, and we decided we need to scrap it all and restart. But to do that restart, we both went into separate rooms, and we wrote our plan of what we think the factory, like the main crux of the factory design should be. And then we came together, we pitched each other on things, and I actually loved doing that. And we came to like, at least I remember it being a relatively amicable working together solution. Like part of your idea, part of my idea.
It was. And I think, I mean, it's really interesting because, and I was talking to Craig about this outside of the podcast, but I do think this game could be used in like an educational format or a team building format, because there's so much that goes into how you communicate with each other and work together on designing and building things in a way that more than on like any other game we played. I feel like there's another game we played that was something similar. I don't remember it right now, but it is funny because why did you blame me so much for things that went wrong?
Because you were using the wrong tools for the job you were trying to get done. But I will say, I never got like frustrated. Did you ever get angry with me?
No,
I was never angry at you. I was
angry.
just kind of being like, well, you're using the wrong thing. We could do it better.
But see, I do think you're thinking a little bit too black and white. And like workflow,
No, I'm
there's
thinking
no
logically
right
with
way to
reason
do
and
it.
rationale.
There's no right way to do anything.
But there's a way
There's all
that
kinds of
definitely
designs.
makes more sense than what we're doing.
What wrong tools are you talking about? You're the one
Fast
using
conveyor belts.
slow inserters when you could have been using fast ones.
And then you're clogging the system with too
No,
much stuff. You're
you're wrong.
shoving too much stuff. It's like
You're
if you
wrong.
open up the hose and you're like,
Dude,
why is it
in the
blowing the
system.
tomatoes off my tomato plant? Because you're
What?
using a massive hose. You don't need a fire hose to water your garden.
I was the one regulating the system from the inside. I know when the system was clogged and when it was not. And so that's why I decided when we needed the fast inserters and fast conveyor belts and when we didn't. And I'm telling you, at some point, we needed the fast inserters and
We
you weren't
weren't
using
there
them.
yet. We weren't ready for a total overhaul. You don't upgrade.
It wasn't a total overhaul.
Windows doesn't update I'm just going to update Excel today. Windows updates the whole thing when it's ready and all parts are ready to go.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Thank you for coming to this meeting. For our snack cabinet, what snacks we would play with this? I think you should have like a
Not coffee.
like a business meeting. No, I think you do need coffee. I think
I
when you come
decided-
together for the meeting, you have bananas, Cliff Bars, hot water for tea, coffee, and you come and you sit at your meeting at the table. You know,
I really
Donuts?
decided that in my life, because of who I am and how I operate, I don't need a lot of coffee. And it actually makes it harder for me to function.
yeah, me too.
Because my brain doesn't need all that caffeine. I'm already so up. And you're kind of lower. So that's why you need the caffeine to jumpstart your brain. You need fuel in your engine.
No, I don't. I'm good.
My engine's already going at 100%. If I put coffee in it, it will start to explode.
Oh, so you admit if you put something in too much, like fast conveyor belts, into a system that doesn't need it, it doesn't work efficiently.
I never didn't say that, but I'm saying that wasn't the system that we were operating at the time.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Look at the numbers. No, actually, here's
Look
something.
at the numbers.
Here's something I'll say. I don't think it.
Like you were having issues with what the game was telling you.
It could give me easier to digest numbers of certain things, like even the electricity. If we're generating enough power or not, I was a little unclear on. And yeah, I could go research it, but I didn't want to do that. But I wish that there had been an easier to understand data sets.
Or maybe even a tutorial on like, here's what you're seeing and what it means.
Yeah, because
maybe we're stupid.
I mean, I think I figured it out where it was like, here's how much power you need.
Yeah.
Here's how much power you're making. Are you satisfying enough power, right? But I just wanted to see like, I don't even know exactly what it would be, but I felt like I needed more data. I like this game.
It's an interesting game. It's very unique.
Last
game.
factor, communication, which we've already really
it
talked
would
about
be-
at length. But
So it would be like similar to Minecraft. Periods of time when we weren't really needing to communicate because it was like we were doing our own thing. You were building your railroad, I was doing whatever. But yes, we would have to come together and talk at length about certain things when we needed to make decisions. So
Yeah, we'd,
sort
like,
of
huddle
like
up.
meetings, meeting style
Yeah.
communication. If we had to give communication styles in co-op games, ooh, that's an idea.
Yeah,
This
write
would
that
be meeting style. So-
I mean, we probably don't need to do that, but I like the
I
concept.
like the idea. Like, imagine an idea, like this idea that co-op games have different communication ways that are the best way to, or at least the way we did it. So yeah, this is meeting style communication.
Something I've always liked about certain co-op games are ones where while I'm at work, you could still be helping. So, spoiler, I guess.
Oh,
For,
real life work?
yeah. Like,
Well, I work too.
no,
I'm kidding.
I'm saying like You logged off. This game's perfect. You logged off, and I kept going.
I
and
know.
I was
I
able
know
to
what you're
help
saying.
the
I know what you're
crew
saying.
without advancing too much. Like I'm
Terraria
not going
2
through the story.
and Minecraft, like having
Yeah.
servers.
Yeah, so like asymmetrical almost sometimes.
Yeah, asymmetrical co-op, right? And I feel like online games like this, resource sharing games, are usually doing something like this.
Yeah, like I log back in after you stayed up all night playing. I log back in, and there's a cool tree fort that I can take advantage of in
Right.
Minecraft or whatever.
Right, like because some people play these games with a lot of other people and at different times. So it's like these two people come in at this time, working shifts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Larry Daring is giving me a call here, and he said he's got a game pairing.
Hang up. I'm just kidding.
He says Satisfactory is another game that is very similar to this, except it's a first-person, like 3D thing. This is top-down. Did we ever even say that?
Yeah, you did at the very beginning.
Okay, this is like isometric top-down. Satisfactory is like a first-person shooter version of this same type of concept.
Yeah, I've heard it's also pretty good, but we haven't tried it yet.
We probably can't until we get a 2-desk, 2-PC setup, because I don't know if it will run on the other options.
Mm-hmm.
But are you interested in playing Satisfactory?
Maybe.
Yeah? This didn't destroy
I would try a
hope?
demo. I wouldn't want to buy it. I would like a demo version.
I'll buy it. I don't mind supporting art and creations.
Okay. Don't be like that. I'm just
no, because
saying.
I know that I'm going to buy it at some point because I want to play. I can probably convince some other people to play. I'm just curious if
I would
this
try
experience ruin the no?
No.
Okay.
I would give it a shot because every one of these kinds of games is different, and I don't think it's going to be the same exact thing. So it'd be interesting to see what that one's like.
Right. Yeah. Probably.
And I
Maybe
like
that
games
has.
like
Maybe
this.
Maybe that game has the data output that I'm looking for.
Nerd. Just kidding. This game is very nerdy though. Also.
This is a nerd ass video.
I
game.
hate saying that. I take it back.
No, I think the word nerd
I don't know what the
now,
word nerd even means, dude.
It means a hardcore dedication, like that you have to like change part of your being to, you know what I mean?
Passion?
Yeah, dude, you have to have a passion
So
for it. You can be a
having
sports
passion
nerd.
is nerdy.
Yeah, dude, only freaking losers like stuff.
We're redefining the word nerd. But
I mean,
the
I
thing
feel like
is,
it's
then
been
everyone should be
redefined.
a nerd then.
Yeah, you should be a nerd about something. It should be, if you
I
like
see.
sewing, you should be a nerd about it.
Well,
You
some
should-
people use the word nerd to describe someone who
Yes,
does
Poindexter.
specific hobbies,
yeah,
not
but
just
that's stupid because sports people are just as bad. Like, you ever
Oh,
gone
yeah.
into like a sports person's house and it's covered in
You ever gone to a sports person's house
It's
and seen
covered
their
in like
walls?
little tiny
Yes.
helmets that they got out of a Gashapon machine. And it's covered in
Yo,
pennants
we are
and
shitting
posters.
on sports people today.
And I like sports, and I think these people are nerds.
What I don't like is when I go into someone's house and the whole thing is the paraphernalia.
Of
But is
something,
that what
of
they come
anything.
into our house and they see all the figures and the anime girls?
But when you say all the figures and all the anime girls,
we don't have that.
you're kidding.
I think everyone needs to tone it back with all
Yeah,
that stuff. You
right.
know, find a middle ground.
No.
We're
Stop.
talking home design now. This is the
You don't
home
have
design
to.
podcast.
You don't have to tone it back if that's what you want. I'm just
Of course.
defending.
You don't have to do anything.
Y'all are a nerd too. You know, the people who use it as a Poindexter.
Oh yeah, I
type.
know. I just get annoyed because it's like people are like, "You're such a nerd." It's like, yeah, so are you probably. What's the point? It's not that I'm insulted. I just feel like the word means nothing to me now, and so I don't even as a compliment. I'm just like irrelevant. Thank you.
If your house doesn't have a collection of something, are you even interesting? Like
Wow.
if your house is so
If you don't even have a collection of stamps, can you even say you're a cool person?
a stamp collector is far more interesting than a person who's like, I come home and watch Friends.
Wow, now we're see, I also don't like Friends. What if you're a nerd about Friends?
There are, and you
What
know
if
what?
you can quote every episode of Friends?
Then that's cooler than just being like, I come home from work and I watch Friends and then I go to work.
Listen.
You're a work nerd.
Okay, well, I want to
What up,
defend the
work
people
nerds?
that do the 9 to 5 and they have no other options but to watch Friends because
Not-
that's what makes them happy and they
Wait,
don't
wait,
have
wait.
time to collect things.
9 to 5, you have so much time, dude.
Okay, yeah, true. But I'm talking about the American 9 to 5 and what that means is not actually 9 to 5.
The American 9 to 5 was hour-long commute,
Right.
which
and then
is not 9 to 5.
and you work way past 5.
So it's more like an 8:30 to 8, hour-long before, yeah. No, but
This
that
is
I'm
really
not talking
derailed.
about. Well,
This is our most
work
chaotic
efficiency,
podcast.
work efficiency, it correlates. I'm also not making fun of people who like Friends. I'm
I
just
know,
making
I
fun
know.
of people who don't have a hobby and then make fun of people who have
What we're
hobbies.
saying is get hobbies, you're a
Get
nerd.
a hobby. You deserve it for yourself. Be a nerd about something. Collect worms. Be a worm nerd.
Don't collect worms.
Why not?
I won't talk to you.
We don't talk to these people anyways.
We don't talk to these worm collecting people.
Bug nerds are kind of weird, though.
I love how you just, at the very end, you have to come down on one specific kind of nerd. Everyone else is fine. You bug nerds, you can just
Well, hold on.
screw off.
You want me to go off on the types of nerds that are wrong?
Are wrong.
Hentai nerds.
Okay, moving on. Don't even talk about that. There's no such
Censorship nerds.
thing. What is a censorship?
Those
nerd?
ones that are like, they're censoring my games by
That's
putting
not a
pants
nerd.
on
That's
a character.
just an
That is a
asshole.
big ass nerd, dude.
No. See, now you're not using the word properly again.
I think the word nerd is malleable, and sometimes you can use it to be mean.
That's why I hate it.
That's why I like it.
No, that word sucks. I don't ever want to hear someone refer to me as a nerd in my life again.
Nerd. You called me a nerd way earlier in this episode, by the way. You said under your breath, nerd.
As a joke.
So you're doing the thing.
Okay, I don't mind being called as a joke.
We got to wrap this up.
Fair enough.
We're talking about nerds too much. We're nerds for talking about nerds.
You're such a nerd.
What's your rating on this thing?
This episode gets an F, but the game gets...
An S from me.
I was going to say S.
Cool. It's an S. I like when this just works easily. We've never really had too much of a problem coming
You know
up
what
with the
didn't
rating.
work easily? Everything in Factorio.
I think it worked really well. You tried to
Easily.
progress too much.
No.
You
Not
overwhelmed.
unwell. Not well. It just didn't work easily.
No.
You weren't in the
let yourself
research.
get overwhelmed.
I was in the pits. You were in the train stops.
I was John Henry, dude. I'm just
I was
hammering
literally-
away. Ka-ding, ka-ding,
You know what
piece
you are?
by piece, laying
You're
down
the
bricks.
CEO looking down from your glass house
How
at
am
the
I a
top,
CEO if I'm
and
building
I'm
a
the
railroad?
worker.
Dude,
I'm
you're the
fa-
scientist. You're that Pfizer ass hat that's just sitting there like with a test
Are you
tube.
saying I'm a nerd?
With a test tube and a little like a push filter. What do they call them?
The spleen?
A drop tube spin. What do
Can
they
you
call
remind
it?
me what this armchair is called again?
A Cecil, dude. Dare Cecil. It might be D Cecil, might be Das Cecil. I don't remember.
Is Cecil the like short version?
No, Dare die Das. It's okay.
Verdi das.
German has
No.
gendered.
No.
Oh,
We know that. So does Spanish.
yeah, and it sucks. That was the worst part about that language.
I know. Why do languages need to gender their objects?
Well, do you want to talk about why?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to talk? We'll save that for the linguistic episode.
Linguists
Episode
talks
29.
together,
German.
speaks together.
We need to end.
Yeah, let's.
I don't even know what we were talking about.
anything
It was
else?
not important.
The rating, and then nerds, and then like
S.
S. Okay,
S is fine. Whatever.
let's do the.
Over it.
Let's go to the other. Let's end. Okay. Grace, do you have a buried treasure indie game highlight of the week of the month for me?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a game that we've not played, and we don't know if it's good or not, but it seems interesting, so maybe you should check it out. It's not an endorsement necessarily.
This game is called Fogs. Have
Fogs?
you seen it?
Oh, wait, Phogs?
Yes.
Okay, I've seen it. I thought it was very similar. Remember Dick Butt Game?
Yes, it does remind me of Dick Butt
I thought that
Game.
was the same thing.
Okay, so essentially, it's like, Cat Dog? I know you do.
I love Cat Dog.
So
I
it's
love
like
thinking
Cat
about-
Dog, but it's Dog.
Okay, so how does it? What happens if what happens if dog goes inside other dog's mouth and keeps going?
I
They
have
just keep going.
no
and
idea.
It stretches till it gets so thin.
I don't know if that's possible
He can't fit no more.
in this game. This game comes out on December 3rd, so it's not out yet, but it's very
Can I
soon.
just say one thing about Cat Dog, and then you can tell me about Fogs.
Fine.
I calculated who could stretch more, Luffy or Cat Dog, and
You
I
calculated.
did. Well, I did all the research to figure out who has stretched further.
If I had a
Cat
nickel
Dog,
for every time you said, one more thing I have to say about Cat Dog, I would have a
Yeah.
lot of nickels.
I like Cat Dog. The Cat Dog stretches further. He stretched like very, very far. He went under the ocean. Okay, go. Luffy's only stretched like, relatively small distances.
But
compared.
maybe he has the ability to, and he hasn't used
He hasn't
it yet.
done it yet. And once he does it, I'll revisit the math. But for now,
right.
Cat Dog has far outstretched him.
Well, I look forward to your scholarly article on all this. Out on December 3rd for Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, and Stadia. Wow, so many consoles, so many things you could play this on. Developed by BitLook Games and published by CodeSync is the game Fogs. Yeah, Phogs, because it's not necessarily like super obvious how that's spelled by me saying it. Essentially, you're dog, but the dogs are named Red and Blue. You're a little cute little duo of dogs. The game is very cutesy. If you go look this up, the art is very adorable. Kind of similar to like well, I don't want to say dick butt, but similar to that, but also Adventure Time, like, bright
What
colors.
was that game called?
Round shapes.
Genital jousting.
I thought it was really called dick butt for a second. I was like, wait, no, it was dick butt. No, you're right. It was genital jousting. I'm sorry for how many times we're saying the word
This is
dick
a very piss-heavy, dick-heavy episode. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know.
It's episode 58.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I was sitting on that for a while.
There's going to be local and online co-op for this game. And essentially it's like this cute little puzzle adventure, and you go through all these levels and all these worlds. Each one of you plays red or blue, the two dogs, and you are stuck together forever. And so you kind of move by stretching around and probably limiting each other by, stretching as far as you can. But it looks really cute.
Wait. Is half the dog red, half the dog's blue?
I think it's like their collars or something. No,
but you're playing one half the dog.
Yeah, one half the dog.
Okay, so you're stretching. I see.
Also, there's hats.
Let's play it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And it's for Switch. I was kind of thinking this might be a fun game for us to check out, or for anyone to check out. So check out Fogs.
Fogs.
I don't know why it's called that.
I know. I'm trying to figure out.
Dogs, but what's PH?
What's PH? Fancy.
No.
Fat. Pharmacy.
These are the pharmacy
These
dogs.
are the pharmaceutical. Oh, so maybe pharmaceutical industry, big pharma made these fogs.
Big pharma fogs.
Big fogs.
What about? I'm thinking of, are there any other PH
Fancy.
words? Fancy, it does not start with a PH.
Frat.
No, that's F.
I know. I just can't think of PHs. Phylophone.
Yeah, maybe the game goes
Francophile.
To find out, why don't you play Fogs on December 3rd? I bet it goes all into the lore. I mean, I can only hope it goes into the lore of what the fog is.
Yeah, why is it a fogs? It like dogs, like duo dogs, like double dogs. Like that's a better name.
Wow, you don't need to insult their name. You haven't even played the game yet. What if there's a very good reason?
Maybe there's like a really cool word that we're gonna learn,
like fogs.
Like
like PH
like
word.
Phasma.
Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
Phasmafogs. Phasmadogs.
Fog.
Phasmophobia and Fogs should come together and make a like a crossover game.
Fogsmophobia.
Where you play as Fogs and you try to exorcise the house of ghosts. You can only go so far from each other.
I don't like this idea.
And you wear hats. Okay, fine.
Oh wait, hats?
Oh wait, did you say hats? Went up a letter grade. No, hats in Factorio. That's why it wasn't a double S. In fact, I'm liable to take it down to an A, but I won't.
True. There were no hats. There should be.
The character's so tiny, it wouldn't really be helpful.
But you can zoom in pretty far.
You could zoom in.
I think it's funny how their idle animation is just them like looking back and forth forever.
That's funny. I did not notice that at all.
It's a very strange, and they're on the same cadence. Like if you zoom in and we're standing next to each other, they're both just looking left.
Do you think they're humans or aliens?
I think they're humans.
I think they're aliens, especially now that you say what you just said.
True. The only way they can see is with their one eye, and they have to constantly be moving.
I was just thinking the fact that they're so perfectly in sync. That scares me.
Oh, it's a whole race. It's like a whole species.
What if we're of one mind?
Yeah, it's a hive mind, hive move.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The lore that we've made up.
Grace, if they want to talk to us about the lore of Factorio, where can they find us on the internet?
You can find us at safetogether.club, where you can find all of our links to our social media, like Twitter and Instagram, and our episodes.
And there's also a list that you can click.
There is?
Of games that we suggest, that we think are cool, that we recommend. That's why it's called Saves Together Recommend.
There are so many commas in your sentences. Did you know that?
I like
commas.
Yeah, well, I mean, why is that? Where did that start?
This isn't the Armchair Therapist podcast.
Well, why do I do it?
Now, why do I do that?
You pointed it out, now people are going to be like, that's true, that's annoying, and they're not going to listen anymore.
Sometimes you just have to ask, what? That's not true. Sometimes it's just good to ask questions about why you do something. It doesn't mean it's a bad or a good thing. It's just good to be introspective and reflect on your own behaviors and communication styles.
But now I'm focusing on it. Okay, I'm going to do a sentence without a comma.
I do think you talk in more commas than I do.
Yes.
All right, we need to stop. Stop.
I play with the
games. I'll finish all your sentences.
But list.savetogether.club will also take you right to that list of recommended games, and we encourage you to send that to anyone who's like, I need a co-op game to play. You could send them this list.savetogether.club.
You could, and you should, because it's a great list.
Yeah.
Check it out.
We'll add to it slowly over time. It's not complete. It's not every game we've ever played.
Yeah, it's sort of like the games for saves togethers right now of what we think is good. You know, they'll be replaced or added depending on what we play in the future.
Yeah.
Because there's always more co-op games to play, folks. Don't let those naysayers on Twitter tell you there's no co-op games out there. Because let me tell you, there's plenty.
There's a ton.
There's a ton. There's too many, I would say. Stop it.
Way too many. We should be doing episodes twice a week.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
we'd
If
still
we got
have
paid for
games to play.
this, we would do that, but we don't.
Right.
I don't think I would do that.
Really?
If this was my job, maybe.
My thing would be,
But then what would I do is for fun?
right. Yeah, I don't know if I want games to be my job.
No, I don't.
Unless it's like specific one task around a game, like I'm video.
The problem is we'd have to play games way faster. But yeah, if it was our job, but then games aren't as fun if you have to play them.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know though. I don't know. It might be pretty fun, dude.
I know.
Anyways, thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks.
Sorry about my commas. I'll work on that.
Sorry about my dick butts. I'll work on that. Peace.
Bye. What games have you been playing on the new consoles? Or maybe the old... Hey! Did you hear that? Need for Speed guy. Excellent. We got a cameo from Need for Speed.
No, I don't want you to put that in.